Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Pastor James Reese, Heaven's Light Ministries. It's an awesome day today. Let me tell you, I'm going to speak just briefly on extremes. Let's look at the extreme example of compassion, love and compassion. Speaking of Jesus, we're going over to Luke chapter 7, so hold on tight. Verse 11, shortly afterward, Jesus left on a journey for the village of Nain with a massive crowd of people following him along with his disciples. And as he approached the village, he met a multitude of people in a funeral procession who were mourning as they carried the body of a young man to the cemetery. The boy was his mother's only son, and she was a widow. When the Lord saw the grieving mother, his heart broke for her. With great tenderness, he said to her, "Please don't cry." And then he stepped up to the coffin and touched it. And when the pallbearers came to a stop, Jesus said to the corpse, "Young man, I say to you, arise and live." Immediately the young man moved, sat up, and spoke to those nearby. And Jesus presented the son to his mother alive. A tremendous sense of holy mystery swept over the crowd as they witnessed this miracle of resurrection. They shouted praises to God, saying, "God himself has visited us to bless his people. A great prophet has appeared among us." And the news of Jesus and his miracle raced throughout Judea and the entire surrounding region. This is one of three people that Jesus raised from the dead. Do you see in this story how Jesus, he's moving, he's got a multitude of people following and listening to him as he preaches, and he goes about healing people. And he encounters this huge procession, funeral procession. See, funerals were very important, very recognized in those days, because by the sheer number of people that attended and would walk with the funeral pyre and the casket, as well as the number of mourners who were usually hired in many cases to wail and mourn. It was significant. It represented this person was really loved. But here we have the Son of God who sees, and his heart is literally opened up, and he says, "Don't cry." The Master of Life stepped up and touched the coffin, and by touching the coffin, he spoke to the dead body of that young man, and the boy came back to life. The young man did. Why is this significant? Because just as Jesus has compelled us through the Word, always pay attention to the widows. Take care of them. Provide for them. This woman was a widow. This was her only son. With her only son dying now, she would probably not marry again because she was older. You know, this young man was going to be her hope to take care of her in her elderly years. And now no one was going to be there to do that. And therefore she would probably become a beggar and fall subject to the prey of swindlers and people like that. Jesus saw all of these things. He stopped and he raised the young man back to life, and he gave him back to his mother. What an awesome thing. But you know, even in the midst of all this, here's the other extreme. Judas is with him. Judas the betrayer, seeing the passion of the heart of God, seeing the miracles, just like people are today. They'll hear this message and they'll throw rocks at it. They'll make snide remarks and statements. You'll see those. You'll see those kind of things. No matter how much you love the Lord, you're going to have people try to take you down, throw shade on you, and try to make fun of God. But let me tell you something. Judas is a prime example of, even in the midst of church, even in the midst of glory, there can be bad mixed with the good. Be cautious, but be aware. Keep your head on a swivel, and always, always, always know Jesus Christ loves you. Proclaim him everywhere you go, and have a blessed day until I see you again at the appointed time.